In a world overflowing with endless choices and distractions, it is easy to find ourselves tangled in the web of what we should keep, what we should let go of, and most importantly, what we should never accept. We often receive things from others, gifts, emotions, expectations, and even beliefs, without questioning their impact on our lives. Yet, the ancient wisdom of Zen Buddhism teaches us that the key to a peaceful, balanced, and fulfilled life often lies in the art of discerning what to keep and what to reject. Today, we will delve deep into the Zen Buddhist teachings that reveal the 9 things you should never receive from anyone, ever. These are not just physical objects, but also subtle traps of the mind and spirit that can cloud your true essence, hinder your spiritual growth, and disrupt the tranquility of your inner world. As we explore these profound lessons, prepare to challenge your perspective. Let go of unnecessary burdens and unlock the path to genuine freedom and enlightenment. 1. Unnecessary gifts. In Zen Buddhism, the concept of simplicity is deeply woven into its teachings and practices. One of the important aspects of this simplicity is being mindful of the physical objects we allow into our lives. The first point, unnecessary gifts, refers to the idea that receiving items that do not serve a clear, practical purpose can clutter both our physical and mental spaces. This seemingly simple principle carries profound implications for living a mindful and peaceful life. Unnecessary gifts are those items given to us by others that do not add value to our lives or contribute to our well-being. These could range from trinkets, souvenirs, and decorations to more significant items like electronics or clothing that do not align with our needs or lifestyle. While gifts are often given with good intentions, they can sometimes lead to an accumulation of material possessions that serve no practical purpose. When we accept such gifts without discernment, they can clutter our environment and burden our minds. Zen Buddhism emphasizes the importance of a clear and focused mind. Physical clutter often translates to mental clutter. When we surround ourselves with items that serve no real purpose, we create distractions that can pull us away from being present and mindful. This clutter can occupy mental space, drawing our attention away from our spiritual practice, meditation, and the experience of the present moment. A cluttered environment can make it challenging to maintain clarity and simplicity, which are key to Zen practice. A core tenet of Zen Buddhism is the principle of non-attachment. This doesn't mean rejecting all forms of material possession, but rather being mindful of what we keep in our lives and why. Accepting unnecessary gifts can create attachments to things that hold little significance or meaning. These attachments can, in turn, generate a sense of dependency or desire, both of which are obstacles on the path to enlightenment. By declining or mindfully re-gifting unnecessary items, we practice non-attachment and reinforce our commitment to a minimalist, purpose-driven life. In Zen Buddhism, everything is approached with mindfulness. When offered a gift, the mindful practitioner considers whether the item aligns with their values and needs. If the gift does not serve a purpose or align with one's spiritual goals, it is perfectly acceptable, according to Zen teachings, to decline it politely or accept it with gratitude, and then mindfully pass it on to someone who might find it useful. This practice of mindful acceptance ensures that the possessions we keep are meaningful and contribute positively to our lives. By avoiding unnecessary gifts, we create more space, both physically and mentally, for what truly matters. This could mean having a clearer space for meditation, more time to focus on personal growth, or simply a more peaceful living environment. When we free ourselves from the burden of excess possessions, we open up space for deeper reflection, spiritual practice, and meaningful experiences. Zen is fundamentally about the beauty of simplicity. In the Zen aesthetic, simplicity is not just an absence of clutter, but a presence of harmony, balance, and purpose. By keeping only what is essential, we create an environment that supports our spiritual and emotional well-being. Unnecessary gifts often do not contribute to this harmony. Thus, by thoughtfully managing what we allow into our lives, we align more closely with the principles of Zen and cultivate a life of greater peace, mindfulness, and purpose. In conclusion, avoiding unnecessary gifts is about much more than just managing physical objects. It is a practice of mindfulness, non-attachment, and intentional living. By embracing this approach, we honor the Zen principle of simplicity and create space for a more meaningful and spiritually fulfilling life. 2. Luxury items. In Zen Buddhism, the avoidance of luxury items is rooted in the philosophy of living a simple, humble, and mindful life. Luxury items are often seen as sources of attachment, desire, and distraction. By shunning unnecessary luxuries, Zen practitioners aim to cultivate a sense of contentment, focus on the essentials, and foster a deeper spiritual connection with the present moment. Luxury items are typically defined as goods that go beyond basic needs and provide comfort, status, or indulgence. These can include expensive clothing, jewelry, gadgets, high-end vehicles, or even lavish homes. While these items may bring temporary pleasure or boost social status, they can also foster attachment, leading to an endless cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. Zen Buddhism teaches that true contentment comes not from external possessions, but from inner peace and spiritual growth. One of the core teachings of Zen is the concept of non-attachment. Attachment to luxury items can bind a person to the material world, creating a constant craving for more. This craving is seen as a source of suffering, as it perpetuates a state of dissatisfaction and a never-ending quest for something new or better. In Zen, luxury is viewed as a distraction that pulls the mind away from the present moment and hinders one's spiritual practice. Zen practitioners strive to live in humility and simplicity, focusing on what is necessary rather than what is luxurious. The idea is to maintain an attitude of gratitude and contentment with what one has, rather than constantly seeking more. By avoiding luxury items, Zen encourages a lifestyle that is modest, grounded, and mindful. This simplicity is not about deprivation, but about being in harmony with one's surroundings and reducing the mental clutter that luxury can create. Zen Buddhism emphasizes finding fulfillment within oneself rather than through external means. When one is not chasing after luxury, there is more time and mental space to engage in practices that promote inner growth, such as meditation, mindfulness, and compassionate living. Luxury can often act as a barrier to these practices, making it harder to connect with one's true self and the world around them. By avoiding luxury items, Zen practitioners cultivate a deeper sense of contentment, focus on spiritual practice, and maintain a lifestyle that reflects humility and mindfulness. This approach encourages living with purpose, clarity, and an appreciation for the simple beauty of life, free from the distractions and attachments that luxury often brings. 3. Avoiding debt. In Zen Buddhism, avoiding debt is emphasized as a way to maintain freedom, peace of mind, and spiritual clarity. Debt, whether financial or otherwise, is seen as a burden that can disrupt one's ability to live a mindful and balanced life. By steering clear of debt, Zen practitioners focus on living within their means, cultivating contentment, and fostering a sense of inner freedom. Debt is more than a financial obligation. It often carries a significant psychological weight. When a person is indebted, they are constantly reminded of their obligations and the need to repay what they owe. This creates a lingering worry or stress that can cloud the mind and affect one's emotional and mental state. In Zen, a calm and clear mind is essential for spiritual growth and mindfulness practice. The anxiety associated with debt can act as a barrier, preventing practitioners from being fully present and focused. Debt often arises from desires or attachments to things that are beyond one's means. Whether it is the desire for a bigger home, a newer car, or luxurious items, these attachments can lead one to borrow money or incur debt. Zen Buddhism teaches the importance of understanding and letting go of desires that do not serve a meaningful purpose. By avoiding debt, practitioners are encouraged to recognize their true needs and prioritize simplicity and mindfulness over material pursuits. Zen philosophy promotes living within one's means as a way to cultivate gratitude and contentment. When one chooses to live simply and within their resources, there is less temptation to borrow or overextend financially. This approach aligns with the Zen practice of minimalism, which is about focusing on what truly matters and discarding what does not. Living debt-free allows for greater flexibility, fewer worries, and the ability to respond to life's changes with ease. Debt can also limit a person's freedom and autonomy. It creates a sense of being tied down or obligated to someone or something else, which can restrict one's choices and actions. Zen Buddhism values personal freedom, not in a material sense, but in a spiritual and psychological sense. Being free from debt means being free from the control or influence that such obligations can impose. Avoiding debt in Zen Buddhism is about more than just financial prudence. It's a spiritual practice that promotes mental peace, contentment, and freedom. By living debt-free, practitioners can focus more fully on their spiritual journey, cultivate a calm and uncluttered mind, and live in harmony with their true needs and values. 4. Tainted or stolen goods. In Zen Buddhism, avoiding tainted or stolen goods is crucial to maintaining ethical integrity, inner peace, and spiritual progress. Receiving or using items that have been acquired dishonestly or unethically is considered harmful not only to oneself, but also to others and the broader spiritual community. This principle aligns with the Buddhist teachings on right livelihood, karma, and mindful living. Tainted goods refer to items obtained through dishonest, unethical, or illegal means. This could include stolen goods, items acquired through exploitation, deceit, or any form of unethical conduct. These goods carry negative energy and are viewed as a source of impurity in Zen practice. By accepting or using such items, a person may inadvertently become complicit in the harm caused by their acquisition, which goes against the core principles of Zen Buddhism. One of the elements of the Noble Eightfold Path in Buddhism is right livelihood, which emphasizes earning a living in a way that does not cause harm to others. This principle extends beyond personal conduct to include the acceptance of goods and resources. Engaging with tainted or stolen goods is seen as supporting the very actions that go against right livelihood. A Zen practitioner is encouraged to cultivate an ethical lifestyle, which includes not accepting or benefiting from goods that come from harmful or unethical sources. Karma, the law of cause and effect, is a fundamental concept in Buddhism. Actions rooted in dishonesty, theft, or harm create negative karma, which affects not only the person committing the act, but also those who support or benefit from it. Accepting tainted or stolen goods can therefore lead to negative karmic consequences. Zen teachings emphasize the importance of generating positive karma through ethical actions, compassion, and integrity. By rejecting tainted goods, practitioners protect their karma and contribute to a more ethical and harmonious world. Zen Buddhism also stresses the importance of maintaining a pure mind and environment. Possessing items obtained unethically can disturb this purity, creating a sense of unease or moral conflict. This is especially true for Zen practitioners who seek clarity, mindfulness, and inner peace. By ensuring that all possessions are obtained honestly and ethically, one can cultivate a space conducive to meditation, mindfulness, and spiritual growth. Avoiding tainted or stolen goods in Zen Buddhism is about more than just following rules. It is a practice of maintaining ethical integrity, fostering positive karma, and creating a pure and peaceful life. By making mindful choices that reflect compassion, honesty, and respect for others, Zen practitioners align themselves with the core principles of Buddhism and contribute to a more just and harmonious world. 5. Weapons. In Zen Buddhism, avoiding weapons is a significant practice that reflects the core values of nonviolence, ahimsa, compassion, and peace. Zen teachings emphasize the importance of cultivating a mind and environment free from aggression and conflict. Possessing or using weapons is seen as contradictory to these principles and can hinder one's spiritual development and mindfulness practice. Ahimsa, or nonviolence, is a fundamental tenet of Buddhism. It promotes the idea of causing no harm to any living being, whether through thoughts, words, or actions. Weapons are inherently associated with violence, conflict, and the potential to cause harm. From a Zen perspective, owning or keeping weapons can create a mental and emotional environment that contradicts the peaceful and compassionate values that practitioners strive to cultivate. By avoiding weapons, Zen Buddhists commit to a path of non-violence and compassion toward all beings. In Zen Buddhism, weapons are seen not only as tools of physical harm, but also as symbols of fear, aggression, and conflict. Possessing a weapon often implies a readiness to defend or attack, which reflects an underlying mindset of fear or hostility. Zen teachings encourage practitioners to confront fear through mindfulness and inner awareness rather than through external means like weapons. By letting go of weapons, practitioners can focus on cultivating a mindset of trust, peace, and understanding, rather than one of defense or confrontation. Zen practice emphasizes creating an environment that supports meditation, mindfulness, and spiritual growth. The presence of weapons in one's space can disturb the peace and tranquility needed for deep meditation and self-reflection. Such items can act as distractions and serve as a reminder of potential violence or conflict, which goes against the Zen ideals of calmness and serenity. By removing weapons from their environment, practitioners make room for a more harmonious and centered life. Zen Buddhism promotes the cultivation of compassion and empathy toward all beings. The presence of weapons can desensitize individuals to the value of life and the suffering of others. By avoiding weapons, Zen practitioners reinforce their commitment to compassion and empathy, fostering a mindset that seeks to resolve conflicts through understanding and dialogue rather than through force or aggression. Avoiding weapons in Zen Buddhism is not just about physical disarmament, but also about nurturing a peaceful mind and spirit. It reflects a commitment to nonviolence, compassion, and the creation of a mindful and harmonious life. By distancing themselves from weapons, Zen practitioners can focus more fully on spiritual growth, inner peace, and the well-being of all living beings. 6. Excessive clothing. In Zen Buddhism, avoiding excessive clothing is a practice rooted in simplicity, mindfulness, and non-attachment. The teachings encourage practitioners to focus on what is truly necessary and beneficial for spiritual growth, rather than accumulating material possessions that serve little purpose. Excessive clothing, in this context, refers to more garments than one needs for daily living and practical use. By limiting clothing to the essentials, Zen practitioners cultivate a minimalist lifestyle that supports clarity of mind, humility, and detachment. Simplicity is a core value in Zen Buddhism. It is the practice of reducing distractions to focus on what is genuinely important in life: spiritual development, mindfulness, and compassion. Excessive clothing, like any form of material excess, can become a distraction. When one's wardrobe is filled with countless outfits, it can lead to unnecessary choices, vanity, and attachment to appearances. Zen teachings encourage a simple approach to clothing, one that prioritizes functionality, comfort, and necessity over fashion or abundance. Zen emphasizes mindfulness in every aspect of life, including what we wear. When clothing choices are made mindfully, they reflect intentional living rather than impulse or social pressure. By limiting oneself to a few functional and versatile pieces, one can approach clothing with a sense of gratitude and awareness. Each item is chosen with care, used with respect, and maintained thoughtfully. This mindful approach helps practitioners become more aware of their needs versus their desires, promoting a more balanced and content way of living. A fundamental principle of Zen Buddhism is non-attachment, particularly to material possessions. Attachment to clothing, like any form of attachment, can lead to desire, dissatisfaction, and a distorted sense of self. People often use clothing as a means to express status, identity, or social standing, which can foster ego and attachment to a false sense of self. Zen practitioners aim to go beyond these superficial attachments and find a deeper, more authentic sense of identity through spiritual practice. By avoiding excessive clothing, they minimize the risk of becoming attached to how they appear externally and focus instead on inner development. Zen teachings also emphasize harmony with nature and a mindful approach to consumption. Excessive clothing can contribute to environmental harm due to the overproduction of textiles, waste, and pollution. By choosing to own fewer clothes and making sustainable choices, Zen practitioners align their actions with the values of compassion and respect for the earth. This approach not only benefits the individual's spiritual practice, but also contributes to a more ethical and sustainable world. Zen encourages humility and contentment with what one has. Excessive clothing can often lead to feelings of envy, competition, or inadequacy when comparing oneself to others. By adopting a simple wardrobe, Zen practitioners cultivate a sense of humility and are content with having enough to meet their basic needs. This contentment reduces the desire for more and fosters a deeper appreciation for what one already possesses. Avoiding excessive clothing in Zen Buddhism is about more than minimalism. It is a spiritual practice that encourages simplicity, mindfulness, and non-attachment. By focusing on what is essential, Zen practitioners create space, both physically and mentally, for deeper reflection, spiritual growth, and authentic living. This mindful approach to clothing aligns with the broader Zen values of simplicity, humility, and harmony with oneself and the world. 7. Junk or trash. In Zen Buddhism, avoiding junk or trash is an essential practice that reflects the principles of mindfulness, simplicity, and respect for the environment. Junk or trash in this context refers to items that are broken, unusable, have no meaningful purpose, or simply add clutter to one's life. By avoiding these types of possessions, Zen practitioners strive to maintain a clean, clear, and focused environment that supports spiritual growth and mindful living. At the heart of Zen Buddhism is the practice of mindfulness, being fully present and aware in each moment. This mindfulness extends to the physical environment, including the objects we surround ourselves with. When we hold on to or accumulate junk, we are not living intentionally or mindfully. Instead, we may be acting out of habit, fear of letting go, or attachment to the past. Zen teachings encourage a conscious approach to possessions, where each item is chosen with care and used with purpose. By avoiding junk, practitioners foster a more intentional and mindful way of living, where every object in their space has a clear function and value. Zen Buddhism emphasizes the importance of clarity and simplicity in all aspects of life. A cluttered environment filled with junk or unnecessary items can cloud the mind, creating distractions and obstructing the ability to focus and meditate. Zen practice often involves creating a space that is serene and conducive to contemplation and mindfulness. A clean, well-organized environment supports a calm and clear mind, free from the constant distractions that clutter can create. By avoiding junk, Zen practitioners maintain an environment that fosters mental clarity and spiritual growth. Zen teachings emphasize the importance of non-attachment, letting go of things that no longer serve a purpose or that create mental and emotional clutter. Holding on to broken or useless items can reflect an attachment to the past or a fear of loss. By letting go of junk, practitioners practice detachment and learn to appreciate the impermanence of all things. This process of letting go can be liberating, allowing for personal growth and a deeper understanding of what truly matters. The practice of non-attachment encourages Zen practitioners to focus on the present moment and on experiences rather than possessions. Zen Buddhism also teaches respect for the natural world and emphasizes living in harmony with it. Accumulating junk contributes to waste and environmental degradation, as many items end up in landfills, polluting the earth. By avoiding unnecessary items and making mindful choices about what to acquire, use, and dispose of, Zen practitioners promote environmental sustainability and reduce their ecological footprint. This approach aligns with the broader Buddhist principle of compassion, not just toward other beings, but also toward the planet. By minimizing waste, Zen practitioners act out of respect and care for the earth. Zen Buddhism values simplicity and contentment with what one has. Junk, in many cases, represents excess, items that are no longer needed but are kept out of habit, sentimentality, or fear of scarcity. By clearing out junk and focusing on what is essential, practitioners cultivate a sense of contentment and gratitude for what they have. This simplicity allows for a more authentic and meaningful connection to the present moment, free from the distractions of excess possessions. It encourages a deeper appreciation for the beauty and utility of the few things that genuinely serve a purpose in life. Avoiding junk is not just a philosophical practice, but also a practical one. Zen practitioners are encouraged to regularly assess their living environment, identifying items that are no longer useful or that clutter the space. This could involve practices like decluttering or minimalist living, where the focus is on retaining only what is necessary and valuable. Items that no longer serve a purpose can be donated, recycled, or discarded mindfully, ensuring that they do not contribute unnecessarily to environmental harm. Avoiding junk or trash in Zen Buddhism is about more than just physical decluttering. It is a spiritual practice that aligns with the values of mindfulness, simplicity, non-attachment, and environmental respect. By maintaining a clean and uncluttered environment, Zen practitioners create the mental and physical space needed for deep reflection, spiritual growth, and a life of intentional living. This mindful approach to possessions fosters clarity, peace, and a profound connection with the present moment and the natural world. 8. Food beyond needs. In Zen Buddhism, avoiding food beyond one's needs is an essential practice that reflects the principles of mindfulness, moderation, and respect for life. This approach to eating is not just about controlling physical consumption, but also about cultivating a deeper awareness of the body, mind, and spirit. By eating only what is necessary to sustain health and well-being, Zen practitioners aim to develop a balanced relationship with food, promote inner clarity, and live in harmony with the world. Mindful eating is at the heart of Zen practice. It involves being fully present with each bite, chewing slowly, and savoring the flavors and textures of food. This practice encourages awareness of the entire process of eating, from the preparation of food to its consumption and digestion. When one eats mindfully, they are more attuned to their body's hunger signals, recognizing when they are full and avoiding the tendency to overeat. By eating only what is needed, Zen practitioners honor the food, the effort that went into preparing it, and the natural resources used to produce it. Zen Buddhism emphasizes the middle way, a path of balance between extremes. When it comes to food, this means avoiding both indulgence and deprivation. Consuming food beyond one's needs can lead to physical discomfort, sluggishness, and a distracted mind, all of which hinder meditation and mindfulness practice. On the other hand, eating too little can cause weakness and distract the mind with thoughts of hunger. By practicing moderation, Zen practitioners maintain a balanced approach to nourishment that supports both physical health and spiritual well-being. In Zen teachings, craving and attachment are viewed as sources of suffering. This includes attachment to the pleasure of eating, which can lead to overeating or choosing foods that are not beneficial for the body. Zen practitioners are encouraged to be mindful of their cravings and to understand the root causes behind them. Often, cravings for excessive food are tied to emotional states like stress, boredom, or a desire for comfort. By becoming aware of these underlying emotions, practitioners can address them directly rather than using food as a temporary solution. This awareness reduces attachment and fosters a healthier relationship with eating. Zen Buddhism emphasizes gratitude and respect for all forms of life. This respect extends to the food we consume. Overeating or wasting food shows a lack of appreciation for the resources and lives involved in bringing the food to the table, whether it be the lives of animals, plants, or the labor of those who prepared it. By eating only what is needed, practitioners show gratitude for the food and a deep respect for the interconnectedness of all life. This practice aligns with the broader Buddhist principle of non-harming, ahimsa, which is not just about avoiding direct harm to living beings, but also about minimizing waste and excess. Overeating or consuming rich, heavy foods can lead to lethargy and dullness of mind, which are counterproductive to Zen practices like meditation, contemplation, and mindful living. Eating lightly and only what is needed helps maintain a clear, focused, and alert mind, which is essential for deep meditation and spiritual insight. Zen practitioners understand that the body and mind are interconnected. Taking care of the body with proper nourishment without overindulgence supports mental clarity and spiritual progress. Eating only what is needed also aligns with Zen's emphasis on living in harmony with the environment. Overconsumption of food leads to waste, environmental degradation, and inequitable distribution of resources. By practicing mindful eating and avoiding excess, Zen practitioners contribute to a more sustainable and equitable world. They recognize that consuming just what is needed helps reduce their ecological footprint and demonstrates compassion for the planet and all its inhabitants. Practicing mindful eating in Zen Buddhism involves several practical steps. First, practitioners are encouraged to eat slowly and chew thoroughly, allowing the body time to signal fullness. Second, portion control is key. Serving small amounts and going back for more, only if genuinely hungry, helps avoid overeating. Third, Zen practitioners are mindful of the types of food they consume, favoring simple, wholesome, and plant-based diets that are both nourishing and sustainable. Lastly, they express gratitude before meals, acknowledging the interconnected web of life that made their nourishment possible. Avoiding food beyond one's needs in Zen Buddhism is not merely a dietary guideline. It is a profound spiritual practice that cultivates mindfulness, moderation, gratitude, and respect for all life. By eating mindfully and in moderation, Zen practitioners align their daily actions with the broader principles of simplicity, non-attachment, and compassionate living. This approach to eating not only supports physical and mental well-being, but also contributes to a more balanced, ethical, and sustainable world. 9. Symbols of ego or status. In Zen Buddhism, avoiding symbols of ego or status is an important practice that reflects the core values of humility, non-attachment, and authenticity. Symbols of ego or status, such as expensive jewelry, luxury cars, branded clothing, or titles, are often seen as expressions of vanity, pride, or a desire to be seen as superior to others. Zen teachings encourage practitioners to move beyond these superficial identifiers and focus on their inner development, fostering a life of simplicity, compassion, and true self-understanding. In Zen, the ego is seen as the false sense of self that arises from attachment to external identities and possessions. Status symbols are external markers, whether material possessions, titles, or achievements, that people often use to define themselves or to assert their worth in comparison to others. However, Zen teachings emphasize that these symbols do not represent one's true nature. Clinging to status symbols feeds the ego, creating separation, competition, and attachment, which are obstacles to spiritual growth and enlightenment. Zen Buddhism teaches that the self is an illusion, a construct of the mind shaped by attachments, desires, and societal expectations. True understanding arises when one sees beyond this illusion and recognizes their interconnectedness with all things. Symbols of ego or status reinforce the delusion of a separate self by fostering attachment to external validation and approval. By avoiding these symbols, Zen practitioners cultivate non-attachment, allowing them to see beyond the false self and experience a deeper sense of unity and harmony with the world. Humility is a central tenet in Zen practice. It is about recognizing that there is no need to prove oneself superior or more important than others. Status symbols often serve as a means of elevating oneself above others, leading to pride and arrogance. Zen encourages practitioners to adopt a humble attitude, recognizing that all beings are equal in their fundamental nature. By avoiding symbols of status, one practices humility and cultivates a life that is simple, genuine, and grounded in reality, rather than illusions of superiority. Zen Buddhism places great emphasis on living authentically, being true to one's real nature rather than conforming to societal expectations or the desire to impress others. Symbols of ego or status often drive people to conform to societal ideals or to seek approval based on external appearances rather than their true selves. By rejecting these symbols, Zen practitioners focus on inner fulfillment, finding contentment in who they are rather than what they own or how they are perceived by others. This shift from external to internal validation leads to a more genuine, peaceful, and fulfilling life. Status symbols and the pursuit of ego satisfaction can consume a significant amount of time, energy, and resources. They often lead to a cycle of desire, acquisition, and dissatisfaction, distracting individuals from their spiritual path. Zen Buddhism advocates for a life of simplicity, where fewer possessions and less concern for status create more space for spiritual practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and compassionate action. By avoiding symbols of status, practitioners free themselves from the endless pursuit of external validation and can focus on what truly matters: inner peace and spiritual awakening. Status symbols can create barriers between people, fostering a sense of division, competition, and envy. Zen teachings encourage compassion, empathy, and seeing the interconnectedness of all beings. By letting go of the need for status and ego reinforcement, practitioners can relate to others more genuinely and compassionately. They recognize that all beings are on a journey of self-discovery and growth, and the illusion of status only serves to create unnecessary separation. To live in alignment with Zen values, one must consistently practice mindfulness and discernment in every aspect of life, including how one relates to possessions and social status. Avoiding symbols of ego or status means living a life that reflects authenticity, humility, and a deep understanding of the impermanence and interconnectedness of all things. It means focusing on inner qualities, such as wisdom, compassion, and kindness, rather than on external markers of success or importance. Avoiding symbols of ego or status in Zen Buddhism is about embracing a path of humility, authenticity, and non-attachment. It encourages practitioners to look beyond external appearances and to seek deeper self-understanding and spiritual growth. By rejecting the need for status symbols and focusing on inner development, Zen practitioners cultivate a life that is simple, meaningful, and aligned with the true essence of Zen, an essence that is beyond ego, beyond attachment, and rooted in the profound realization of interconnectedness and inner peace. The teachings of Zen Buddhism are like a mirror, reflecting the layers of our attachments, desires, and the illusions we hold on to. The 9 things you should never receive from anyone are more than a mere list. They are a powerful guide to understanding the subtle dynamics that shape our lives and consciousness. By learning to discern what we allow into our lives, whether it's material possessions, emotions, or beliefs, we reclaim our power to shape our journey with intention, clarity, and peace. As you walk this path, remember that true freedom comes not from what we gain, but from what we wisely choose to let go of. By embracing these timeless Zen teachings, you can cultivate a life of simplicity, mindfulness, and deep spiritual fulfillment. So, take these lessons to heart, and may they guide you to a place of balance, inner peace, and enlightenment in every moment of your life.